What's up, guys? So yesterday we dropped a video with General Grievous eating the Sith Empire alive. The problem was you had to follow a specific turn order, you needed L3, and to top it off you had to have the team incredibly tanky so you could wait until that optimal moment to wipe the team out. It does beat Gear 13s, as Kadawata has gone on to prove in this video right here. Make sure you check out his channel and subscribe as well, of course. But the problem is not everybody has L3, so what are you going to do about that? Well, we're going to insert R2-D2 in the team, and we're also going to take HK out because many of you want to use this in Grand Arena and Territory Wars, whereas I really recommended the initial video for just Arena, and we're going to put IG88 in as lead instead. Now, I will mention this team is done totally different to the one we did yesterday. We have to make the team very fragile here, except T3 obviously, because he has to live, and everyone is going to have to die off quickly so that Grievous can wipe the team out within about 30 seconds. The faster the enemy, the easier this works, because we're going to need to have corrupted battle meditation on very early, and if we're too quick, or if the enemy's too slow, then the problem there is that Grievous is going to get it late. So teams with slow bastlers are going to be a bit of a problem, and you're going to have to keep dialing those mods in to get your team as slow as possible. So let me show you the footage, let me show you how the runs work, and we'll go through the mods in a bit more depth later on in the video. Let's do this. Okay, so in the last video, some of you guys reached out to me and said you didn't have L3. What can you do? Does R2 work? Well, he does, but you have to play things very differently. In the last video, as we really heavily stressed, you need to really pile protection all over your droids. You've got to make them last until Grievous gets to the sweet spot and kills everybody. In this team, everyone has to die really quickly, at the same time as T3 not dying, so T3 needs to be protection modded for days, and the rest of them need to be very soft. You're using like offense primaries and stuff like that, so there's not much protection on BB and he'll die quickly for you. I'm going to show you how this team works. There is definitely RNG involved in this team because we're using 88 leads, so we need those debuffs to actually stick, and it doesn't matter if you potency mod 88 and R2 for days, sometimes they just don't stick enough, which means less critical damage for Grievous. Right, let me get into the actual battle and show you how this goes. It really is a big gamble. You're playing with fire with this team. Right, here we go. I'll explain what we're doing in this battle. First, we're going to wiggle with BB. It's going to get him torn in, and then we're going to burn with R2. That in turn is actually going to put debuffs on the team, in theory, and then we're going to actually have more crit damage from T3's unique. Right, we actually got quite a few debuffs on there, which is nice. We're going to attempt to do the same now with IG88, and at the same time, it's going to remove these foresights, particularly, and most importantly, Bastillers. And that pretty much didn't stick too many debuffs on. Wow, we're going to try now with T3, get a few more on. Now he did stick loads, so that's pretty awesome. Okay, now first attack with Grievous, we're not going to AoE, we're actually going to crawl. This is going to give 10% extra health, which in turn, more damage. So we'll do that one first. Hopefully BB dies now. There he goes. We've modded BB in a way that's actually going to make sure he dies very quickly, because that's what we're going to need for this team. We're going to be AoE in very early and getting everybody out of the way, so BB has to die quickly, otherwise they're going to get more and more attacks. You're not going to interrupt with Grievous' turn, you're going to end up with another corrupt battle meditation and everything's going to go to hell. But here we go. Right, let's get this on 1 speed so we can see the kind of damage we're doing here. Boom! Everybody gone. 201k. Crazy. I'm actually going to now break down with some other footage exactly what's going on and what we're doing mod wise, because it's hard to cover everything in one run. Okay, on this one we've got a run where I'm actually using HK47 as lead because he gives you the crit damage boost, which in turn just makes it a lot easier to actually kill these teams. You don't need as much crit chance either when he's your leader. It's a little less reliant on debuffs. I find it more consistent. It's exactly the same process as well. You're going to wiggle with him, you're going to burn with R2, we'll do the AoE with the leader, then we're going to use the smoke move with T3, whatever it's called, I forget its name. Then we're going to crawl to get the 10% health boost on Grievous. Make sure you hit Troop with that. Do not hit Malak with that. If you aim at Malak, you're going to get feared. That's not a good thing. And then it's just wait till a droid dies, wipe the whole team out. Who's going to go first? Is it going to be BB? Okay, it's HK, and everybody is dead. Amazing. I love this team. I really do love this team. Got some footage coming up now from a buddy of mine called Bladebacca from Knights of Mandalore. He runs this regularly. He put all these together for me last night in his arena climb. You can see just how fantastically it performs here too. I'll actually put his mods up on screen shortly. I couldn't quite believe how low they were actually when I first looked through them. All right, one of his droids is going to go down. And everybody died. Oh no, actually Trooper lived. That's going to be a crit avoidance arrow right there. But he can't win by himself anyway, so he's screwed. Next one. He sent me about 5 or 6 of these last night. So big shout out to Bladebacca for this. Smoke. Come on, Grievous is waiting to crawl. It's Trooper. And this is actually a Gear 13 team. I want to point this out. I believe Malak, Bastila, and Revan were all Gear 13. You just saw then at the top right that one of them was Gear 13. So it's not like he's cherry-picked easy teams here, guys. The crawl once again. Grievous is prepped. He's locked and loaded for the finish. Wow, they nearly took out a bunch of droids that time, but still perfect. Okay, now let's go through the mods. As you can see, BB is at plus 87. He has to go first. We've got R2 at plus 51. That's probably the slowest R2 I've ever seen. He'll go second. We've got T3 at plus 83. He actually goes fourth. Whatever the leader is has to go third. He's at plus 84. And then lastly, Grievous at just plus 52. I mean, that's a good indicator that he was actually facing a fast Bastila here, because when I was facing one that was about plus 138, something along those lines, I actually had to slow down to the low 170s in order for Bastila to go before me, which is what we need, because we have to get the corrupted battle meditation out of the way early. That's how this team functions. As you can see from his mods here, he's clearly using a critical damage triangle. However, I've done it both ways. In the 88 footage, I used the crit damage triangle and I used the free health sets. In the HK one, I actually did it differently. I reverted to the crit chance set with 2 health sets and a crit chance primary. So it works both ways. It's really whatever your mods will allow you to do. If you can get your crit chance nice and healthy without having to use a crit chance set, then go for it. You know, you can throw an extra bit of health on that triangle or the crit damage, whatever you prefer. It really won't make much difference. You just have to have that crit chance up there to make sure that Malak's not going to survive by not being critted, because if you do not crit him, he will live, and that's it. You're kind of screwed. He'll wipe your whole team out, and there's nothing you can do from that point. Okay, let's have a quick flick through the mods that I was using, just so you get a rough idea. We had R2 at plus 68. That's a pretty slow. I mean, you don't even need the speed set for that. Keeping R2 alive would be fairly handy. Him and T3 being alive would mean you gain the use of both of their uniques, which is quite good for crit damage and crit chance. But BB, it's not going to matter. You really want him to die. As you can see, I had him at plus 78, which is actually a little bit faster than I thought, but I was obviously thinking of that when I said plus 52. 252 overall is a very, very slow BB-8. When you factor in that 30 to 32 is coming from the arrow alone, and then I used things like offense primaries and stuff so I could actually make sure he died, because having the protection primaries that we used in the original video yesterday, which is what you needed there, was not good for this one. He wasn't dying, which means Grievous wasn't interrupting. Who else was in the team? T3. You can see I actually took a mod off. I got so fed up of trying to dial the speeds in. I was like, oh, I couldn't find one that had no speed. So I was like, right, I'll just take the mod off. And we still had no problem. We still beat it. We lost the crits, the speed set bonus and everything there. My Grievous. Plus 44, so 173. And the Bastila, I just had a look a minute ago before this, the Bastila I faced was actually a 150 something, which means that Bladebacca must have been facing a 160 to 170 to be able to run a 180 set and still go second, because you have to go second in this. You have to let Bastila go first and get CBM onto you, because if you don't do that, you're going to have that on your next turn, which is when you're going to use the AoE and would kill everyone. And if you have it on you, that's going to be your crit chance completely screwed. Malak's not going to get critted. Malak's going to live. You're going to lose. So as you can see, I kept the crit set idea on this one. You can go for the crit damage one if you want, but make sure you have high crit chance from secondaries. It just puts a little bit more strain on your mods. If you have good mods, you can get away with that. If you don't, like me, you got to use a crit chance set, and it's still going to work fine. I mean, we did what, 201k damage or something. And then who else was in team? We had the HK lead. He still got yesterday's mods on. They were fairly decent, admittedly. And then we had IG88, who's the optimal one for this. He was only plus 80. I mean, my HK doesn't need to be as fast as he was in this video to be used. As long as the turn order is correct, as demonstrated in all the battles, then you're going to be absolutely fine. I'll show you the team that we faced, just so you know, didn't cherry pick and face complete trash. Full defense sets, so he's really quite tanky. Gear 13 and a pretty large combined health pool there, and yet he was absolutely no match whatsoever. Even if he went full health sets and pushed it to around 180, 190k combined health pool, wow, we did what, 201. So it's really not going to help. He's still going to die. Let's see. I'll just double check exactly how fast she was. Yeah, 154. So Bladebacca must have been facing 160s, 170s to be able to get away with that speed. And then we've got Revan as well, who was at 142. So yeah, even if he was running at 170 there and Bastler was at 170, we had a massive room to extend our mods. As long as the gap is the same, then the turn order is going to be the same, and the result is going to be the same. You know, like 50 versus 100 is the same as 100 versus 150. The gap is still 50, so the turn order is still going to be the same. Some people cannot grasp this, unfortunately, and I have to explain it so many times when they're like, oh, my shard has a 170, so it's going to be so much harder. And I was like, well, the characters we're using are currently using mods of like 30. I'm pretty sure you can push on an extra 30 on that. It really shouldn't be hard, especially if you're trying to compete at end game. So that's it. I think I've covered just about everything. If I've missed anything, you've got any questions, please throw them in. But before messaging me saying this doesn't work like people did with the previous video, please make sure that the turn order is exactly as I've said. Please make sure you're modding the way that I'm suggesting. You're going to need BB-8 to be very soft in this one so he actually dies, and for the L3 squad you're going to need them to be very tanky so they stay alive. If you're not going to mod the way that is required and using the turn order that's required for these teams to work, then it's not going to work. That's pretty obvious. This is very end game. This is facing Gear 13 squads and such, or just at least Gear 13 characters at times, so you're not going to get away with Gear 8. You're not going to get away with Gear 9. You're going to need to be able to compete, and it's that simple. That we found ways here with me and Cador of being able to use really slow mods in comparison, so you've got loads of headroom if you do need to boost them slightly, but you are going to have to follow the turn order and such to actually get these results. That's how it is, unfortunately. So big shout out to everyone watching my videos, giving them the old thumbs up. Shout out to all my subscribers, my patrons, everybody. I really do appreciate the support. Please check out Cador's channel as well. The guy's been super helpful in regards to all these. Big shout out to Bladebacca as well for providing some footage in this one. And until next time, we out of here.